All righty, my friends, we are continuing the coverage here on Peaks to Plains weather this afternoon of this severe thunderstorm that has been rolling through the Pueblo area with some very strong wind. Mary will be joining us here in a second, but we are continuing this afternoon to talk about what has been a very windy day for a number of areas, even for the spots that are not getting the strong wind that's enhanced by thunderstorms. We have an atmosphere, though, that is primed to allow some downward vertical motion here this afternoon. And if I show you on the velocity here, what we've seen on the radar and the measurements that we have had in Pueblo of the very, very strong wind moving through town here, which is why this severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. So it's not because of large hail like we had yesterday or anything like that. It's because of the strong wind gusts. So you can see here this afternoon that some of these bright greens that you are seeing here is where radar had been picking up velocity values of more than, in some cases, I've seen some 70 mile per hour wind gusts here on the radar. And that has been moving off to the northeast through town. And right now we are measuring some of these brighter greens here at still 55 miles per hour, 54 miles per hour, 58 miles per hour. And if we loop this over the last 30 minutes and we do it slowly, you will see this enhancement of the wind from this thunderstorm moving through the Pueblo area. So that's what the severe thunderstorm warning is for. Not for tornadoes, not for large hail, but it doesn't matter if strong wind is turning or if it's straight. If it's strong, it is strong, and it can cause an issue for sure. So we've got this severe thunderstorm warning currently going here as we head toward 3 o'clock. As we sit at 2:37, this is valid until 2:45, including areas east of Pueblo on Highway 50, Avondale and Boone, the old Pueblo Depot, out toward where the radar site is. So we're going to get some real good data in the low levels of the atmosphere of this wind as it moves toward the radar site. We also, this afternoon, have a severe thunderstorm watch that has been issued for southeastern Colorado, and that is because we have other storms that, like the storm that moved through Pueblo, could have the potential to produce some very strong and damaging wind gusts. It's in effect for Los Animas County, Crowley County, Otero County, Kit Carson, Cheyenne, Kiowa County, Bent County, Prowers County, and the southeastern corner of the state, and Baca County. You see all of those in the yellow shaded area here, that severe thunderstorm watch, again, in effect through 9 o'clock this evening. So it's a much different weather day than what we had yesterday. And Mary, if you're ready, you give me a thumbs up and I'll bring you in here. And let me find our double box. And put you into the double box is actually what I need to do. So hold on a moment, my friend, and we can talk about what you have been covering here for the last little bit. And, you know, we were hoping for a little bit of a quieter weather day today, and that is not how it has worked out. So, you know, it's some of those days when you get that D cape and you get those inverted V soundings. You get what is strong wind aloft with a little jet streak this afternoon off to the southeast, and a storm that wants to allow air to rapidly descend down to the surface. That's a recipe for some strong wind like we're seeing out there right now.
Yeah, before you popped on, we had several people in El Paso County talking about being concerned about damage around their homes. As surface observations were well over 40 miles per hour. We also have, it looks like, the Colorado Department of Transportation camera at Pinion, I believe it's Pinion Boulevard there in Pueblo. Actually looks like you can see some of that dust suspended in the atmosphere. So
let's pull some of those
you might
up
want
here.
to check that out.
Yeah, we've got, let me see what the cameras that we have that I got into the weather system right now, but I can certainly pull some other ones up here. Because there was a dust storm warning too, I think I saw also, right?
Right. Yeah, that was kind of the main concern. They were saying visibility down to about less than a quarter of a mile, but I'm not sure of the if that was kind of protocol for the
Right.
dust, or if we were getting actual observations, ground truth on that. But
Right.
it was hard. It was hard to tell. But certainly, you know, it's probably, if so, it's probably very concentrated to that one particular area. And it was also hard to tell the feedback from the radar if I was picking up on dust,
Right.
or you know what I mean. So
Right.
that was kind of that was a little bit difficult, kind of on the fly. But I've got my other tool pulled up over here, and we're going to look at that a little bit more. So that's good.
I think you're liking the other tools more than the tools that I have tried to provide you.
I know.
So we can just tell everybody
I'm
that it's
sorry.
okay. It's fine. We're
I pretty
figuring it
much
out.
told everyone that we basically worked with two different systems for almost the entirety of our careers, and I'm an older dog here trying to learn some new tricks,
Right.
and I'm not doing so good at it.
I actually
I like
heard that when I was
volunteer
walking out of the meeting I was in, and I was laughing, and then I was like, "Oh man, she's being so sweet here." Uh,
Probably.
it was what it was, but
Yeah,
um,
you've done your
it's
best. You've done your
it's an
best.
interesting day though. It's different than yesterday, where wind from a covering it perspective, there's just a difference about it though. Like everybody gets like, okay, it's windy and here it comes. And for some reason in people's perception, it just has a different feel than, oh my gosh, hail's coming. Like hail could have immediate like hurt and tornadoes. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's been your perspective, but that's been mine over the years.
I think it's a lot of people's perspective. And I think until you get direct damage from a day where you've got sunshine and then all of a sudden you've got roof damage, your perspective kind of.
Right. Oh, what happened there? Mary's having some internet issues, I think, today because of the wind speed that we've got out there. She's mentioned that she's been bumped out a couple of times. And when I see her pop back in, we'll get her back in here. But we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for our far eastern counties. This is for Cheyenne and Kit Carson County in far eastern Colorado. This is through 3:30 this afternoon. This includes Cheyenne Wells that was under a tornado warning last night. Like the other storms, this is for wind gusts of 60 miles per hour. And this one could be doing some real small hail of under a ½ inch in diameter. I want to look at, when I was forecasting this morning, we were talking about the dew points. And I made mention that sometimes the computer models drop the dew points a little too quick and faster than they should. And here's where we sit this afternoon. And with the downslope or the downburst that we've had in Pueblo, our dew points popped up to 50. But, being in the upper 30s and low 40s, if you were with me this morning, I talked about if we had dew points in those low 40s, we could be talking about some hail, maybe up around an inch in diameter. So we'll keep an eye on that here as we head through the afternoon. Gusts across the region are significant, though, as we're sitting here at 245. It's 44 right now in Pueblo, so it's come down from earlier. 40 in Walsenburg, 41 in Alamosa, and 41 in Trinidad. And we've got these storms that are helping on a localized level to expand and enhance what is some strong wind aloft associated with a little jet streak in the atmosphere that is moving through southeastern Colorado, the panhandle of Oklahoma, Kansas, and into coming out of New Mexico, I should say. So let me pull up for you the visible satellite, and we'll widen the view, and you can see where that jet streak is here this afternoon. So let this load up, and you can see where on the south side of the jet streak, which is running about right here, there's not much in the way of cloud cover over the panhandle of Texas. But on the north side of it, where we are, you can see that the flow is zipping through there quick, and there's just enough moisture that we've got a line of some thunderstorms off to the east of Albuquerque. Those are coming up into southeastern Colorado, and then to the north of there are a few storms as well. So that's kind of the setup and the cause of the issues that we have out there this afternoon. The sustained wind, that is a forecast there. That's not what I wanted. And I am in Mary's show. I'm going to pop into my show here. So just because I know where everything is better, so that I can cover that a little bit differently for us here. So give me a moment to do that and then we'll pop back on. But certainly getting, again, a second day in a row of some impact. 24 hours ago, we had these strong storms that were rolling through with hail being the big issue. And today we have transitioned that to a dust threat and a strong wind threat. So in Mosca, in the San Luis Valley, today I've had a report of some quarter visibility as things kind of got going here in the early part of the afternoon. And now we are in a different spot here as this action has transitioned out across the eastern plains. So again, we've got a couple things. We have one active severe thunderstorm warning out across far eastern Colorado to the east of Kit Carson. And if I put the velocity on here for you, you will see like what we saw in Pueblo here, where the strong wind gust is part of the issue. And so if we look at the radar from Goodland, Kansas, and we let that scan come through here, we can measure the strength of the wind speed. And before I forget to do this, I am going to change this from meters per second to miles per hour. If you were with me last night on this tornado coverage, we were talking about that. When there was a tornado warning for Cheyenne and Kit Carson County. And I was saying, I need to do this tomorrow, and I hadn't had a chance to do it yet. But I'm going to do it right now. So we're putting this in miles per hour. We're putting this in miles per hour. And then we are going to save this here. And I'll clean it up later. But, all right. There we go. Okay. So let's measure what we're getting on the radar scope here with this storm. 47 miles per hour, 48 miles per hour, 56, 58. When you're measuring actual wind speeds in radar that are that strong, it's not hard to issue the severe thunderstorm warning. So let's put the reflectivity back on here, and we will show you that you can see that storm centered over Cheyenne Wells right now, moving off to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. And so that's going to bring it through Old Wells here, at least the core of the storm. But the wind is out ahead of it on the leading edge of that, and it's going to expand away from the storm a little bit. And it's very possible that we see this storm collapse here. We may see several storms do that through the course of the afternoon. Stronger storms in southwestern Kansas, where there's a little bit more water in the atmosphere for those things to work with around Johnson City, around Richfield, Rolla off to the east there, where they're going to have a little bit more of a potential to maybe get some hail around 3/4 of an inch in diameter or an inch in diameter, whereas most of our storms today are going to be wind makers. And if we get hail, it's probably staying below an inch in diameter. You can see these other cells that are popping up here this afternoon across parts of the plains. Any of these storms, see them how they go up, you see some yellow, some red, and then they collapse. It's every time we get that collapsing storm that we're getting rapidly descending air that's pulling stronger wind from aloft to the north of the jet stream down to the surface. And so not all of these may end up with severe thunderstorm warnings, but they're all producing areas of enhanced wind. And every storm that you see here on this loop is going through and doing that. So let me shorten the time of the loop here to the last 2 hours so that we can get a feel for these storms that are going up, collapsing, enhancing the wind across the entire region. And that's why we have that severe thunderstorm effect for southeastern Colorado. 2 to 3 hours, we're going to be in a situation here where we get these storms that are going to be capable of doing it. So west of Walsenburg, coming down Levita Pass, north of Trinidad, out across the plains, areas in Lincoln County that haven't seen these storms approach yet, you're all going to have the potential for wind gusts to easily get up to around 50 or 60 miles per hour. Here, you see the storms in Baca County are going up and collapsing as well. The atmosphere is just not supportive of sustaining a thunderstorm updraft in southern Colorado here this afternoon. All right, I see Mary's back in. Mary, when you have something, I know you're looking around. When you want to come back in, let me know. And she's ready. She's ready that fast, my friend. What's going on with the internets at your casa today?
I mean, is it the wind?
Oh, it's something.
You were just looking at that camera there, Fairview, I believe, in Cheyenne Wells, west of Cheyenne Wells. That looked really good.
Okay, let me pull that up.
And we also had a confirmed report. It looks like in Pueblo, 59-mile-an-hour wind. That was an ASOS site.
All right, so let's see. We've got Pinion up here. You said, where am I looking out on the Eastern Plains in
Cheyenne
Fairview?
Wells, the one just west of Cheyenne Wells.
Okay.
First View. Yeah, County Road 34 in First View. I think you were just on it right before I popped on.
Okay. Let me go grab it. All right, here we go. Oop.
Yeah, I always tell people when you're using a new system, it's like trying to fly a. If you're a pilot, you've always been a pilot, but it's like trying to fly a plane in a new cockpit. You're like, where are all my buttons?
Well, and that's what's interesting, right? Like it's the same, but it's not. It's the workflow you get used to when you're analyzing a storm. If you don't, you get used to something for 15 years, and then you have to go to something different, and it's right.
It's been harder than I thought it would be.
All right, I'm going to bring up this this quad box that we were using yesterday, and I am going to put the CO trip in there. This will be good. I like this thing. We used this a bunch yesterday. That's one of the things too. You and I are finding the tools that we like, and the layouts of things that we like here as we are doing this. I can make that a little bit bigger and edit it just a little bit. So let me do that here.
You can see. So they've allowed the severe thunderstorm warning in Pueblo County to expire. I know you've already gone over that, but I just now seeing that.
Yeah. Well, and we have that new one that I think as we lost you, there is one out for the far eastern plains now. I don't know if that was in before you bailed or not.
That's why I was telling you about that camera. I was trying to search for some stuff while you were on doing that.
But see how that thunderstorm updraft, like it goes up here and then it collapses? And like, it's fascinating. Watch these three that are going up right now with the cell coming out of Pueblo. They're all going up. They're up for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then you see them all collapse. Like every storm out there is doing that this afternoon.
And what do you think the forward speed is?
I think we're looking at about 40 miles per hour is what I've seen today.
Speed? Yeah,
I think I saw on that Pueblo storm, I think it was at 50.
Yeah. And just to explain to folks at home, we don't mean the wind in the thunderstorm. We mean how fast the thunderstorm's moving at a forward speed. So that's
right. So let's
fast.
split the difference and do 45. We'll grab some of these cells that are here. And if we get some towns in them, we'll be able to give you some heads up here. So I'll just say 45 miles per hour. So Carville, one's coming your way. One moving out of southeast El Paso counties, moving toward Cooch. We got one that is moving off to the northeast here in Los Animas County. That's going to hit a couple of smaller areas. We've got this one coming out of Walsenburg here. That's going to move, the wind gusts with that will move through Walsenburg. And so again, that's going to be the biggest issues as we head through the afternoon here, is you'll get these 15-minute periods of some enhanced wind where you're going to be like, oh, tarnation, what's happening? And then that gust front will move through and the wind will pull back a little bit.
Yeah, I would tell people today, too, to secure your grill.
Oh, yeah. You can't lose the grill. The weekend's coming up too fast.
Well, that, but also like the fire danger. I mean, I know it takes a spark if you don't have the grill going, but like a lot of us use propane. It doesn't take much,
Right. Yep.
My girl tries to walk off the porch all the time, and I get scared of that. So we have it bungee
Ratcheted
cord
down.
around it. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Love it.
So yeah, I was kind of surprised they went with a severe thunderstorm watch. I mean, I know it's all wind
Right.
specific, but I was surprised that Storm Prediction Center kind of went as expansive as they did. Were you?
I was too. I mean, sometimes you get, you kind of learn what the thought process is in that office, right? And when I saw that they had a slight in the southeast corner earlier today, I was like, oh, they're more likely to drop a box, is what we call it, if they have a slight down there. But I feel bad for the folks in the Pueblo office that are going to try to warn on these things because they're so small scale and moving so fast. I mean, the watch is almost a more useful kind of heads up than
That's a good
trying to
point.
keep up with the thing in terms of warnings,
Well, especially with how fast they're moving. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a hit it and quit it kind of
right,
warning.
right.
So, but you said yesterday, and I know I did too, the wind was going to be the story today, but I was surprised with the coverage of little pulses that we're getting
Mm,
with thunderstorms. I didn't think it would quite look like that. And you know what? None of the models picked up on that. But
right.
we know
Well,
here
and
in Colorado, you can't always depend on that, but
no,
I don't think one model picked up on the expansiveness of the coverage. So that's just an interesting side note.
yeah, and I think some of that is from, usually, you and I have talked about this before, is in these situations, the computer models, they get too excited about the mechanical pushing and mixing of the moisture off to the east, like almost every time. And when you have this jet coming in from the west there, you have falling pressures to our west, and it just slows that process down. And when you look at the dew points, I mean, some spots are in the 40s. Now we're getting downdrafts, and it's kind of getting more muddy to kind of analyze what's happening on a air mass perspective.
Yeah.
But it just, I mean, 8 times out of 10, like the models just mix it out and drop the dew points too fast. So I think that's a function of why it looks a little more exciting on radar here than it did earlier
You
today.
would think with the way you explain that they would over analyze, it would be too hot. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Well, and you
Because the
would
way
think
you
that they
just
would
put
make some
that,
tweaks.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
think it's hard to model, though. Like if you start tweaking that here, I think in a lot of other places, it does more bad than good from a
right.
mathematical perspective, is my guess. One other interesting thing here, Mary, is, that's not like these are overly expansive storms either. They're very small. Like I've got the visible satellite on here, and you don't even see on satellite some of these cores that radar is picking up.
Yeah, I didn't notice that until you pointed it out.
It's kind of fascinating.
You mean with the satellite overlay right now, the visible right now with the reflectivity?
Right. Like if you look at the storms that are around like La Junta there, like you don't even see the clouds being picked up. They're so small and so
Oh yeah,
small scale. It's just, I don't know, it's just an interesting observation. But,
that is interesting.
wind is not the problem aloft today. We've got this one jet streak that's moving out, this next one coming in. And with the atmosphere today, we're just primed to bring what the storms are doing is they're getting that enhanced wind aloft. And because rain falling from them is evaporating, like you're creating
Right,
this
yeah,
environment where
yeah,
the atmosphere wants to accelerate down toward the surface in the vertical. And so you're bringing the jet stream level wind down to the surface, really, is what we're doing.
you got a nice little conveyor belt helping
Yep.
that happen, helping that push happen. So it's exacerbating the strong
Great
winds that we're
analogy.
already getting for sure.
Yeah, great analogy. That was perfect.
We had a couple fires reported earlier today. I believe we had one around Manitou Springs or Manitou Lake, correct? And then we had one in Teller. Both were extinguished pretty fast. That was a little bit between 11 a.m. and noon, but we're still watching for high fire danger. What about lightning with some of these storms? Because
There may
you know,
not be
some
a
of the
ton.
yeah, I don't see a ton either, and I don't think there will be. Um, but if I'm being honest, some of the I don't know if we have that attribute even turned on, but I usually can find that button. This is like the cockpit problem again.
No, we don't. Well, we don't have the specific. Lightning data is privately owned. It's very expensive. So one of the roles that our government has is to monitor and model the atmosphere. And the National Lightning Detection Network was something that was privatized from the beginning. And it is very expensive data to acquire.
You mean current data or model data?
No, the current data, yeah, is very, very expensive to model, or I mean to purchase. And so it's expensive for our weather vendor to acquire and expensive for them
Wow.
to pass on to us. So we just don't have it as of yet. And so this
I
lightning
didn't.
strike tool that I have is something that they kind of process downstream. And I try to show with that. I know it's something that's important here, and we just need to get to a revenue standpoint where we're, as a
Yeah, yeah,
small
yeah.
business, able
Okay.
to
No,
do
that
that,
makes
you know?
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It looks like those strong winds now in northeastern Cheyenne County, 55-mile-per-hour read is what I'm getting. Is pushing now into Kit Carson County.
Yeah, we were measuring those with the Goodland radar while you were
I'm on
off.
Goodland. I'm on Goodland too.
Yeah, that's I think the best radar to use for them right now. And if you like, we can query that. So just to the east of Highway 385, before you came on, was we were looking at this come out of Cheyenne Wells, and there's a 64 right there on the latest scan. And so you can see it's like a cold front, right? Like it'll get to you, the wind picks up, and there's about a 10-minute window here of, let's see how far that is, about 5 or 6 miles, like a corridor of wind that's moving along with those storms there. So, if you can batten down the hatches for 10 minutes or so, the wind gets lighter behind it. Not that it goes to nothing, but yeah, so that's in the middle of that severe thunderstorm warning that we still have going here. That is in effect. Can't remember the time, so I'm just going to query it until 2. Let's see. At 2:54, they gave an update on it, and it's until 3:30. So another 28 minutes. And that, at least from a severe storm perspective, is the only game we got going right
I
now.
wonder if they're going to warn this little cell in southeastern El Paso County. Is this putting down some good wind?
Yeah, well, let's query that, and maybe we'll be ahead of
I
it a
mean,
little bit. Again, I don't envy them trying to do this today on this quick, small scale. It's hard to do that. But I mean, there's a 57, right? Like that's not
close.
too far from the radar, so that's basically on the ground level.
Yeah, I'm sure by the time they threw a warning up, though, it would be cycled
Right,
through.
like out ahead of maybe where you would have
Yeah.
warned. But we
It
can
already
give,
has.
you know,
Dang.
we can give people a heads up, though. We'll move that thing forward at about 45 miles per hour. So those of you off to the southeast of Truckton, south of Highway 94, west of Highway 71 in Lincoln County, that's coming your way. So that's between 45 and 60 miles per hour.
Do this, Matt. Put on
Yep.
the reflectivity, and you can see the outflows from the other storms moving west, and then the main outflow or the main flow from that dying thunderstorm. If you zoom out just a little bit, pushing northeast,
Oh, yeah.
and
Good call.
put it on like the
Matthews.
last 2 hours.
Good
So
call.
you're going to get double smacked there in western Lincoln County and eastern El
Yep.
Paso County.
So what Mary was talking about, if I annotate that, got this outflow boundary right here, and not an outflow boundary, but certainly some convergence right there.
Right,
See that sharpening up?
Yeah.
So this has some momentum this way. We've got wind coming together right here, and I think kind of right here along this. So there may be some new development in that area. That's something to watch over the next little bit as well.
Well,
Another fun day, and they put a considerable tag on this storm. Let me pull up the analytical correct analytical tool here. So this now has a considerable damage threat with it. In addition to the strong wind, some blowing dust may reduce the visibility in that area. If you are in a mobile home, it's a day to maybe think about getting out of that for the time being, as there could be some 70-mile-per-hour gusts heading out ahead of that storm that, like the other ones we've been talking about, Mary, you see that one having collapsed now as well.
Oh, in Cheyenne County?
Yeah, I mean, just from the, the intensity of the reflectivity with it. And
Right.
it's that collapsing that's producing this outflow and this enhancement of the jet wind. So yeah, there's these real little guys. These are like when I go fishing. I'll have to show you a picture sometime. Maybe I'll pull it up right now. So I am notorious for when the Meisters go fishing, I will always be the first person to catch a fish. And everybody's like, oh, he caught a fish. And then it comes out of the water and it's like, yay big. That's what these little storms are here.
Yeah.
They're my little fish.
Yeah. If you don't take a picture, it didn't happen though. So
Well,
you gotta.
I'm about to show you because they're not impressive, but they count.
They do. They do. I grew up bass fishing, and there's not a whole lot of that here. It's a different kind of fishing. And the biggest fish I ever caught was on just a fake worm lure, and I was playing with it in the water, making it dance by a big stump, and I caught a 10-pound bass. I was 10 years old.
Nice.
And it was the best moment, one of the best moments of my life.
That's awesome. This is actually one of my bigger ones.
Oh, look at that little guy.
He's just a little crappie. little crappie.
Oh.
I gotta find one of the fish I caught in Alaska though. Like Alaska's where you go to catch big fish, I caught the dinkiest fish you've ever seen in your entire life. So let me find it because it's funny. We gotta laugh.
Little bait fish.
Yeah, I used him for something like that. It was so legit. I was all excited. Oh, here we go. This is more my style.
Oh, look at him. Tiny Tim. That's great. Good job.
Oh, that's so funny.
Tiny Tim. Hopefully you used him to catch a bigger fish.
Oh, well, no, I threw him back. I wanted him to get bigger so somebody could catch a bigger one day.
Oh, that was so kind of you.
I know, something like that.
Well, should we hop off and no, we got another one down to our south now.
Yeah, I mean, I think, what's interesting about it is the idea here is the same. There's going to be these little pop-up things that if you see a cloud getting a little bit tall off to the southwest of you, it's going to collapse. It's going to put out some really strong wind. This one's moving a little bit slower maybe than some of the other ones, but this is also for wind gusts that are around 60 miles per hour. And that is in effect until 3:45 off to the northeast. So this is one of those cells we were looking at earlier, and now there's a warning on it. So, I don't know if there's a lot of point to beating a dead horse, right?
Nope. I don't either.
Because frankly, even the ones that aren't warned have some wind gusts that are very near severe criteria.
You can actually see on on velocity where the downburst just happened.
Oh, okay. Pull that up here.
You got your pixels pretty close together.
Oh,
right?
Yep. You're exactly right. If we query these things, now this is knowing like the limitations of tools. So we are really far away from the radar here. We are several miles up into the storm.
Yeah.
So this is not a ground approximation. But in that downdraft, you've got some velocity between 30 and 60 miles per hour. And that's just on the direction of the radar beam. That doesn't, take into account maybe what's happening in the vertical. But you're right. Another downdraft with that one, and that's the big story today. So
You know what? Before we hop off, let's just look real fast down there. So we don't have any cameras. We don't have any cameras down there. Never mind. Never mind. All right. Well, I think everybody's just got to keep vigilant today. All you can do is really batten down the hatches, batten down the grills, and
head
you
on a
know,
swivel. Head on a
head on a
swivel.
swivel, and maybe
Right?
small dogs on a leash so they don't blow away either. They're not
Right.
even safe.
Right. If you're going to be driving around, I do think you should be at least aware of the potential of reductions in visibility happening as you are driving by fields that may not, have a lot of crop growing in them at the present time. But we'll loop this through the last couple of hours, which is kind of normally we don't do this with velocity here, but you see the enhanced areas of greens and reds moving through. So these pockets of enhanced wind do tend to stay together as they move through. And so that will be something like, for example, that storm that's off to the west of Springfield around Pritchett. Those of you across Prowers County, that is going to move up from the southwest here over the next 30 to 45 minutes. So just know that your visibility that's fine now on Highway 287, or if you're driving on Highway 50, could change over the next hour or so.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, that's it. That's how we do that, my friends. That's that round of severe weather coverage here on Peaks to Plains Weather for Mary. I am Matt Meister. We are Our Weather Together, our severe weather coverage sponsored by Tamco Building Products. We sure appreciate them being sponsors here on Peaks to Plains Weather. If we need to hop back in, we will do so, but you can always track what is happening wherever you are with the Peaks to Plains Weather app. It's there anytime you need it. Have a good afternoon.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.